X crosses are really hard to get good at, so here are 3 reasons why your X crosses aren't as efficient as you want them to be. You probably aren't using the D layer enough, which restricts you on how you can make your X crosses. So for example here, we have cross pieces here, here, and here, and we have over here. And if we just solve the cross normally, so dr, we don't get any X crosses, but if we see we have this free pair, and normally if you don't know how to use the D layer enough in your X crosses, you wouldn't be able to see the solution at all. But if we just do an F move and move this over here, we create a block and we get an X cross. You can also set this up into a lot of cases, because X crosses are more intuitive than algorithmic. But for example, if we have like this, so if we know that when we have an R prime, when we do an R prime to make this pair, so before it was a split pair, and we do an R prime and we get a free pair, and we move over here, we get a block. So for example, in the scramble, you might see this case, and you might think, oh, I can make an X cross if I just make a pair here and insert it into a block. Or let's say it's over the corners over here, and it's less obvious, right? You're gonna have to search for it, which means you need to use more inspection. You know, when you're practicing X crosses, try these tips with more inspection, unlimited inspection. So we move it here, U2, and then we get the X cross. Remember, this corner could be anywhere on the cube, so it could be like here in the bottom layer, and it's not obvious now to make an X cross, is it? But if we just remember this case, we might think, oh, this edge is over here, and if I do R prime D R, this edge is solved. So I need to get the solved corner over here, which is over here. So I do L U2 and move it here, and we have an X cross. Next is you only consider one cross solution for the entire of your inspection, which limits the amount of X crosses you could potentially do. So for here, in the scramble, we have the cross pieces here, here, and here, and here. And what you might normally do is do F to insert green, D prime to align these 3, and then R to insert blue. But that doesn't create any X crosses. As you can see, there's no X cross. But instead, if we consider an alternative solution, for example, if we do L, when we do L here, D prime, we see that this edge and this corner over here, and if you do L2, you actually create this free pair, and you can pair it up with this block. You can pair up to make this block, so with this cross edge over here, and then L2, and you insert it into the back. So if you look at different cross solutions that you can do, this opens up for much more possibilities of you doing an X cross. Next, you don't always need to solve your X crosses into the front. You can perfectly solve them into the back as well, which actually improves your look ahead, which I'll talk about in another video. But for example here, if you're only trying to make an X cross to the back, you're going to struggle here because it's quite difficult. So what you might do is try to make this block like that, and L prime D2, but that doesn't actually create an X cross. You just solve 2 corners. But if we think, oh, I could solve this into the back, you might notice that when you do U, L prime, you create a block into the back here, and you can do U, L prime like this, and then solve red, then do D2 to align the 3 pieces, and then do a B to finish off the X cross. But the main reason which you don't want to admit is that you don't practice your X crosses enough. Solved.no is a great website to practice your X crosses with the inspection timer. Just go to trainers, inspection, and then click on X cross. You can select the amount of moves you want the X cross to be. If you implement these into your deliberate practice, then I guarantee you that your X crosses will improve significantly. So while I was editing this video, I forgot to tell you about the timer. So you can actually put in like timers. So you can time your inspection, so how long it takes you to inspect for the X cross, how long it takes you to execute, or you can do both, so 2-phase. So when you have the X cross, it will time how long it takes you to inspect, and then as soon as you press the spacebar again, it times your execution. Just like that, which is really cool. So once you get good at your X crosses and you're able to plan them quite fast, you can use that inspection and execution timer to get better at executing your X crosses and inspecting them faster. You also have the inspection goal here. So if your goal is 15 seconds, which is what you need in a competition, you can have it as 15, or you can put it up to like, I don't know, 40 seconds, and it might take you 40 seconds to see a 5-move X cross. But if you keep practicing, it will hopefully go down to 15 and maybe even 8.